Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to the Game Dojo, and welcome to 24K movies, reviews, TV shows, and video games. The one-stop shop pop, hit, not bought, that'll let you know and tell it like it is. If it's stank, we gonna tell you. If it's good, we gonna raise it. If it's shit, we gonna flush it down. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 2024. This is officially the first review of 2024 here on 24K. First of all, thank you for showing me so much love. Media is something that we are fans of. We all been fans of it. We all love a great story. We all get swept up and caught up in great movies. Unfortunately, as of late, there is a lot of shite out there. And unfortunately, I'm going to tell you if it's shite or not. Here on the Movie K scale, we use metals, precious metals. So you know if a movie is platinum, 24K, 18K, 10K, gold plated, nickel, cadmium, copper, aluminum, and just plain out garbage. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want you to sit back, relax with your favorite bag of snacks, and get ready for this movie review because I am the Game Ninja, and this is what I do. Today, we are reviewing Role Play. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Kaylee Cuoco and David Oyelowo, forgive me if I murdered his name, have a new movie out, and I just checked it out. So when I heard about it originally, they were comparing it to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And I was just like, you can't improve on perfection. It wasn't the best movie of all, but it was very entertaining. And it was fun to watch Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Because one of the main things you have to have is on-screen chemistry in order to pull off this type of story. This is not the first time the story's been attempted. This story's been attempted many times before. There was that one not too long ago with Chris Pine, him and his secret agent both dating the same woman. Like the secret agent and dating a person and having them part of a normal life it's not a new thing. But execution is everything in this kind of a genre. And I will say, having said that, getting through this movie was hard. It was kind of like eating an old stale sandwich, which you know went bad a few days ago. You know you shouldn't be eating it. You're kind of hungry, but you don't want to waste it, so you're there. Nothing personal against Kaylee. She's just more not... That wasn't correct English or grammar. She's not the caliber of dramatic actor yet that she tries to be in this movie, unfortunately. She's a little bit out of her lane. If she had practiced martial arts, spent a little time getting into the mind and role of that, instead it looks like she just jumped right out of the television genre, right into an action movie like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis, where he was, what was his name? Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he was a secret agent and Jamie Lee Curtis was his wife, and she was trying to step out on him with Bill Paxton because she wanted a little excitement in her life.
I'm getting there.
Oh, come on, man. Dude, Brain Meats. I'm so sorry. Brain Meats is just not good. Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
He played Harry Tasker.
What's the name of the movie?
True Lies.
Thank you. I said, what's the name of the movie? She told me Harry Tasker. I was like, yeah, no, his wife's Helen Tasker. Thank you so much. Wow. Nightmare Creature on lock back there. So yeah, like I was saying, Arnold in that role was more of a believable role because of the type of action star he is. So it wasn't a bit of a stretch for you to make him as a secret agent. Her, on the other hand, there was nothing believable in her face. There was nothing believable in her acting. The most realistic part of this movie the entire time was when it wasn't her on the screen. David, I've seen him in a bunch of other things. He is a different type of actor. And if he wasn't in this movie, this movie would never be heard of, period. And the really sad part is...
We love Kaylee.
They were trying to go for this woke thing, which a lot of movies do with breaking the racial barrier, breaking the ethnicity barrier, and doing the mixed couple thing. And I get it. I understand. There are mixed couples. I'm one myself. But on the same token, you have to be able to pull it off. Like, give you a better example. Julia Stiles in Save the Last Dance with, who is that dude? That was in.
Sean Patrick Scott.
Yeah, there you go. I keep wanting to say Omar Epps, but it's not Omar Epps. But Omar Epps was in movies like Omar Epps was in Q with Julia Stiles. Was that O or Q?
That was and that was Mekhi Phifer that
Damn,
played her boyfriend.
I literally just blended 3 black actors together: Mekhi Phifer, Omar Epps, and David. Oh my God, that's bad.
Oh,
that's
and
bad.
and the last name was Thomas, Sean Patrick Thomas.
Yeah.
I did a boo boo. Sorry.
That's bad there. But anyway, like I was saying, the caliber of actor that he is, he carried this movie on his back, and he was supposed to be the secondary character. I never even got the name of the children because they never even bothered to introduce them in a way for you to care about them. You never once thought they were in danger. You never once thought they were in peril. Just like the same thing with Kaylee in this movie. When she cried, no tears. She cried in A Big Bang Theory when Leonard told her he loved her, and she said she loved him back. She had tears on command there. And here, she made the sounds, no tears in her eyes. I was kind of wondering if she just phoned in this presence, because she just basically did another movie not too long ago where her and her husband found out this guy was a serial killer, and they were basically stalking him and trying to change him for a podcast. That was actually really good. But I don't get what happened here. This kind of seems like this wasn't a project for her, and it just dropped into her lap, and she did it. I wouldn't recommend this on DVD. I wouldn't recommend this on VHS. I wouldn't recommend this on stream. Unfortunately, it has no rewatchable factor in it at all. Like, I hate to say it, just like Jerry.
If you're bored, it's something to watch.
I hate to say it, like Jeremy Johns. I'm not going to remember this thing. I'm not going to. And that's really sad, because there are some other... Bill Nighy is in here. He's another one of my favorite actors that was in here. The lady from Law and Order SVU. What was her name?
I'll get it for you.
No, just her name in the show. Was she Rollins?
No, she was Danny.
Danny. She was in she was in this movie as a Mr. Big Bad. Like I said, they had actors in here who had caliber, but all of them were good. But that's my thing. You can be good in a piece of shit. It doesn't mean that it's great. It just means you were good in it. Kaylee, who was the star of this movie, for some reason seemed like she phoned in everything. Every single last scene where the camera was in front of her face, it was emotionless and blank. It's almost as if somebody had a gun to her head and made her make this movie, which is pretty sad.
And the Rotten Tomatoes scores, the audience score was 46. The tomato meter was only at 25%, and that's saying a lot for Rotten Tomatoes, because they're never wrong on their points of score.
Though we may disagree on some points, today we agree both dually on this movie. Role play is 2 thumbs down. There was no excitement. And that's another thing. When you have a spy movie, you have to be believable in the spy aspect. Angelina Jolie, she trained, she did stuff. So when she was fighting people and going after Brad Pitt, you was infused in the action because it was her doing it. She was there in the action doing it. Kaylee, every single last time, was like 2 seconds of action, 1 second of action, talking for 30 minutes. 1 second of action,
when it came to
talking
Angelina
for 5
Jolie,
minutes.
She was enthralled in the action.
I just said that. But yeah, that's good. That's a good reiteration. Like I said, this movie isn't new. The genre isn't new. It's been done. It's been done and been done. The reason why you come into these movies is because you can have something new that you bring to it. And unfortunately, most of the talent in this movie was wasted. I don't know if it was the script. I don't know if it was an afterthought, or they just dropped this together and had to make it because they had to do this for a budget role or a kickback or something. I don't know. But I know everybody was wasted in it, and it's sad because, like I said, she's coming off of a movie where, like I said, her and her husband was doing a podcast trying to change this guy who was a serial killer. That was great. I streamed every episode of that, which proves my point. She is great when it comes to TV, series. She's great. When she did The Flight Attendant, great. She's good at TV series. When it comes to movies, she's not of that caliber yet.
The TV show that we watched with her, and it was based on a true story.
That's what I'm saying. So when she comes across things that are like TV series, like these little series things, she's great in that because that's her lane. That's what she's normally in. But a movie, a full-on production, it just seems like it's a little bit out of her depth. It doesn't seem like she's supposed to be in it just yet.
The only kind of movies that she's good in is horror, drama, and comedy, and that's what if she's going to be in movies, what she should stick to.
Um, Unfortunately, it's agreements all across the board for role play. Um, don't watch it. I mean, if you want to try to jump into it, bless your heart. I didn't laugh one time throughout the whole movie. And it's funny because there were parts of the movie where you couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a drama, if you couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a comedy. Because if it was a comedy, the humor definitely didn't land. And if it was a drama, it definitely didn't land. And if it was an action, you definitely did not carry it that way. Like I said, it was, and then it, for some reason, it just jumps into a whole nother realm. And even in the different change of place, in a different environment, in a different country, it loses even more of its luster. It's nothing there. I never once found her believable in any way, shape, or form of being a mercenary spy. And to give you a better example of that, there's a movie called, I think it's was it Canaries or Redbird or something like that. Jennifer Lawrence was in this movie about being a Russian spy, a female Russian.
Was that Red Sparrow?
Red Sparrow. There you go. Now, we've seen her as Katniss Everdeen in the Hunger Games. We're well aware of her physical attributes as an action star. So when you put her in a spy movie, it becomes believable because you see and know what she's capable of. Kaylee, unfortunately, hasn't performed anything, and they just threw her into this high octane level, and unfortunately, she could not perform. Body-wise,
she should have spent a few months maybe doing some karate, doing some
training for it,
some sort of training to make it believable that she could have been a spy. Karate, self-defense lessons, anything, even maybe going into the army and talking to some of these men and them showing her some army moves or something.
But on the same token, it's because they weren't invested in it. They weren't invested in this movie, and I couldn't be invested in either. And here's the thing. I was even able to look past the whole woke thing about another woman being the superhero and a guy being the token bitch. I get it. I understand it. It makes me puke because there are so many female heroines, leads that are out there that carry movies, and you don't have to dumb down the male counterparts to uplift the female counterparts. That may offend some of your delicate sensibilities, but it's the truth. Sarah Connor in Terminator 2. Oh my God, did you see her physique? Did you see the level? Did you see the amount of presence she commanded when she brought on there? She was literally on the stage with Arnold Schwarzenegger, almost 300 pounds of muscle, and she was believable. Every single last scene with him paired. Absolutely.
I believe Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger were working out together for the movie when Terminator 2 came out. And that's why she came back with six-pack abs and arms out galore.
Like I said, it can be done. There are tons of examples of it being done. The fact of you guys cranking out movies just to crank out movies, it needs to stop. You need to have test audience. You need to listen to people and understand. Sonic, when Sonic first went out and they sent the clips out and they sent the whole trailer out, people killed that shit. And you know what happened? They went back in, redid, released Sonic, and they had a banger of a property. This is what you need to do. Stop releasing stuff. And I keep saying all the time, it's the Seinfeld joke. If you ever watch Seinfeld, they were talking about putting in a pilot on air, a TV show, and they were talking to the network. And the exact thing was, so what's the show about? It's about nothing. What do you mean about nothing? I mean, the show is about nothing. What did you get up today? What did you get up and do today? I got up and got to work. That's a show. How is that a show? Whatever you did today was a show. Maybe something happened. No, nothing happened. Nothing happens. That's the show. The show is about nothing. So why are we watching it? Because it's on TV. And this is the problem. That exact narrative keeps being used. This is why I'm losing faith in the media industry. People want to wonder why I'm losing faith in it. And they're talking about DVDs going the way of the dodo birds and the VHS and everything going to digital and changing everything. Here's the thing. You can do all the AI script writing and things that you want to do the entire world. If you want to blow the entire movie, TV industry, and media industry, go ahead and do it. I've lived more than half a century, and I enjoyed what I've lived. If it's the end and it goes off into the sunset, by all means. But do not destroy the properties and the things and the entertainment that people need to live on. Some people, all they have is to come home, get a nice meal, and sit down and watch something entertaining to get them through the next day. They have their shows. They have their Game of Thrones. They used to have their Walking Dead when it was good. They used to have their Grey's Anatomy when you didn't kill everybody off. They used to have the NCIS before people became assholes. They used to have the Law and Order before everybody needed to change and everybody needed to spin off in their own separate show. Here's the thing. I understand. You guys are like, well, people are loving it. Let's just keep cranking it out. The problem is the more you crank it out, the thinner and thinner that shit becomes before it's tasteless. And once it's tasteless, you're done. You lose it. Period. But what to give role play? Well, here in 2024, for the first, and I hate doing this as the first movie review of 2024 in January, we're going to give role play copper. Absolute copper. This thing is a penny. I'm sorry I committed it to my hard drive. I'm sorry I wasted the time that I can't get back watching it, hoping for it to get better. Unfortunately, this is what happens when great talent meets a mediocre script and probably a even less enthusiastic director about a project. It gets role played. Verbatim. It gets role played. Played the role of a real movie. Took up the time and the spot of a real movie. Unfortunately, it didn't land. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, here in the Game Dojo, role play, it's copper. Don't watch that shit. Don't waste your time. There are better movies out there. There are certainly better spy movies out there. If you really want to watch a husband and a wife fight, do True Lies. Do Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Do that Chris Pine movie that I can't even think of about the spies. Do Salt with Angelina Jolie.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, I already said that, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like I said, there are other spy movies out there to satisfy your time. All on streaming, I'm willing to bet. And probably in the DVD pile that you have somewhere in your house. So dust off them DVDs. Open up and crack open them things because media does matter. Me and the Nightmare Creature always talk about it. She's a media fanatic and she likes hard media, and I'm a digital guy just because I don't have the space for all the media. But I used to be a big DVD collector, and even to this day I still have some DVDs, some special ones that I have that I want to watch, and I still have a Blu-ray player, 5.1 Dolby Digital sound. I have the whole nine. So yes, I am a believer in physical media. And unfortunately, physical media is going the way of the dodos this year all over the place. And it's not for the good and it's not for the better. Because unfortunately, digitally, you never really own a property. It's gone. Unless you download it and have it stored, it's gone.
That's why I like buying physical media, because it's not like they're going to come up in your house and take it from you.
Not unless we're invaded. But that movie review is for another day. Because I still have not done Tomorrow When the War Ends. I still never did. What's the one with Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey?
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. We're going to see. I can't talk about it now because we're getting into it. But there was a sequel made, and I'm on the fence about whether or not I like the sequel. The original is always great, but there were some things about the sequel that I liked, and there was things that I didn't like. But that's for another review. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Roleplay is a copper, and I don't recommend you watch it. From the Game Dojo, thank you. It'll be Champagne Wishes and what do I have here? Champagne Wishes and V8 Splash Dreams for your next movie. So sit back, relax, put something in good tonight. Just hope it ain't roleplay. From the Game Dojo, check you guys out next time. Peace. One love.